Go ahead, Kristen.
I would like to network, and then network some more with alums. And I think that is and start. We are so willing to help. And I had no idea what PR was and advertising was, and I was just picking up the phone, informational interviews, and just being creative. I remember it's gotten a little, silly now, but the chicken soup for the soul was really big, and it came out. And I think I called every organization that was in the back of that book, and just called them and said, "What do you do?" Because you're learning. You don't really know the differences between advertising and PR. So go ask people, and informational interview, and people are always willing to help. And I found that you just need to listen. You don't need to sell yourself, because you're there to learn from them. And so if they want to talk about knitting, you will learn more than you want to know about knitting in a single session. But it might land you an interesting opportunity. So yeah. I would say open up that, and that's how I've gotten almost every one of my jobs. It's true, I know. I haven't gotten a job through an online submission. It's been who I know. I spent a lot of summers doing lousy jobs. And my dad was like, I'll connect you. I'm like, I'm going to do it on my own. Well, busting too many tables, it got me to be a big believer in networking. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, I would say, to add to that, people love talking about themselves, and I think anyone will love to just tell you what their job is. You have to honestly be interested. No one likes having their time wasted, obviously. But listen to them. And I would say, internships, informationals, if you have an internship and you're there for a summer, make sure you talk to, you're already in, right? You don't see it as in, but talk to 2 more people that aren't your boss, that you might not directly work with, and just get to know what they do, because you never know. And I think, to me, what was particularly paralyzing about graduating is I thought everyone else knew, and I was just out of the loop, right? I looked around and I was like, he looks like he knows where he's going. He looks like he knows where he's going, and I'm just sitting here, and I was like, I wish I was pre-med. I just want some kind of path set out before me, and I wanted no interest in setting up bodies, so I decided I'm not going to push it. But no one has a better idea. You just have to, be able to talk to people, and maybe don't think of it as networking if that's hard.
David,
just a general thought. It's a couple of general thoughts. I spent almost my whole career so far working in the conventional media industry at Time Inc. and Time Warner. The interesting thing about the moment we're living in is that industry has gone through an extraordinary crisis. Even Simon & Schuster and HarperCollins, the book business too. As you probably will recall, during the time I was producing my book, Simon & Schuster, which is my publisher, laid off 35 people. And that was like a huge percentage of its staff, including one of my editors. So this is just the way it is right now. So it was never that easy to walk out of Amherst or no matter how good the school, and waltz into a great job in media. It's much, much harder now because there just are fewer of those kinds of jobs. On the other hand, communication is happening more than ever. It's more important than ever. Writing is more important than ever. Every company recognizes the need to communicate. What's happening now, and as I'm sure Kristen, right?
Yes.
will emphasize from her PR background, companies are now thinking of themselves as publishers. So any company in any industry is looking for what you would otherwise in the past have thought of as a journalist. And I'm not exaggerating. Literally, I know a company I write a lot about sales, and I know a lot about Salesforce.com. They have been hiring journalists like crazy in the last year for a whole variety of reasons. They've taken the head of Bloomberg's office in San Francisco. They took the editor of a big blog. They tried to hire me, which I said no to. But the point is, there's a lot of that. So if you want to be a professional communicator, the avenues for that are much different than they were. And I would say another really key avenue that has opened up that is essential for anyone in your generation to think about is creating your own. Starting a company. You can start a company with no money, with a URL, start publishing a blog on something you're interested in, and there are astonishing numbers of people who are supporting themselves doing that with Google AdSense. And I'm not saying it's easy. You got to have something really compelling, but I'm sure at least half of you in this room are passionate about something that nobody else is covering well enough, and you could do it better. Now, that's just a kind of thing to open your mind
I
to.
just wanted to add to that. I have several sons, but one of them in particular, who, when he was in college, decided he'd start his own blog. Not really to make money, just as an expression. He was a frustrated English major who majored in history instead. And parlaying that, he has a career in something. There are paid bloggers. There are people, he's worked for New York Magazine, Yahoo.com. He gets paid every day to do like 8 posts. So that's, in a sense, working for himself. He
Although
does
I'll
work
tell
for
you one
somebody
thing,
else.
that kind of job is very relentless and extremely difficult. It's not going to
Don't
give you
say
low
that.
blood
I tell
pressure
them
to have
it's
that
easy.
kind of job. There's a lot of people living that. In fact, I'd say in general, people who are now going into media right out of college are working much harder than people in my generation had to work. It's just a much more competitive environment.
I was just going to add, I mean, there's some great ideas here, but you're speaking to first questions. And you introduced yourself, I believe, indicating an interest in editing and publishing, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And those are actually, you know, though they seem very simple, all of you answered that question. What are you interested in? And even if it was, I'm just here to find out what I'm interested in. You've actually taken arguably the first step, because what you're hearing from the panel is there's a great deal of luck involved. It's harder than ever. The traditional skill set or functional role of editor or writer now lives in different places than that individual lived before. Where 15 years ago, writer-editor would have had you calling on Time Inc. or working through the Amherst network to find someone with Time Inc. next year to that name.
Great point.
Now, it's Salesforce.com. Or in my case, it's Nokia.com, where we're hiring people with journalistic backgrounds because we're a content creator. The first question that I would ask, because the answer to it will be as good as any start that you're going to have, is what do you like? So in editing, publishing, what would you like to edit or publish? And chances are, if you can answer that question and write down 10 things on a piece of paper and start on that, start investigating that, put on your Amherst inquisitive mind and start looking into it, that the outcome of that discussion will get you off on as good a start as any, knowing that it's going to be hard, it's going to take time, there's going to be luck involved. Better to throw yourself to the fate of some of those variables in something that you like than something that you don't.
And you also mentioned translating, which there is demand for, so it's just
Huge
trying to be
demand.
creative of where could the